Hey guys, so I'm back with a new video. Last week was the Sailor Moon screen cap redraw challenge, and with the current events of black violence and things going around the past couple of days with George Floyd and Christian Cooper, and with Trump tweeting about crazy things, a question came up from the white community about how do I be a better friend to minorities? And, a lot of people were just, sloughing it off, saying, oh, it's not about being a better friend, this is the climate we live in. But it's a question that I wanted to tackle, because instead of sitting here and talking to you about why I drew a black character in the redraw, I was like, this is a little bit more interesting. So, as a black woman, working in a corporate setting, I kind of, listed a couple of things that I thought, would really kind of create a good set of tips, maybe a small guide to being a better friend to minorities. Because I know it's something that we all kind of cringe at and don't want to talk about. It's kind of, I don't want to say not appropriate, but kind of a touchy subject in regular conversation. So we're going to go through what I think real quick. So my first tip, one, is to analyze behaviors. And what I mean by that is to first just analyze your own behavior, like when you go to work every day and you see minorities in the workplace, really be aware of how you act towards them. Are you nervous? Are you going out of your way to walk around them because you don't know how to approach them? Just, being more aware of the things that you are doing and how your body language looks, how you're approaching people, because it's a two-way street. Like, I know a lot of black people can seem super aloof and just closed off, and a lot of the times we're just like that. With years of oppression, you start to learn that the easiest way to not get in trouble is to mind your own business. So, and I think that, really underscores it. We are closed off as a people sometimes. And, you really need to be aware of how you're approaching someone, how they're looking, their body language when you approach them. And, just, are you making eye contact? Are you looking everywhere except their face? Are you seeming bored when you talk to them? Like, are you not interested in what they're talking about? So really analyzing, how you're interacting with people, how they're interacting with you, kind of reading their body language. Are you touching on a subject that they seem uneasy about? Things like that. Because, talking to people every day is great, but you need to really be aware of what you're saying, what you're doing, what someone else is saying, what they're doing, how you're both approaching the conversation. So number 2, I feel like, is break the ice. And this is something I kind of tested out for a couple months. Being in a corporate setting, I'm super introverted, so it was really hard for me, being in the minority of about 150 Caucasians, like really being in that big of an office. With so few minorities to really talk to and really feel grounded by, it's a little unsettling. So my second tip is to, really break the ice. That can be as simple as going to someone's desk, because, everybody that has a cubicle at a job has a lot of trinkets, a lot of things and knickknacks on their desk. And, believe it or not, you can learn a lot about people based on what they have on their desk. What cartoons they like, what jokes they like. Do they have the leg lamp from A Christmas Story? Like, what are their favorite colors? Do they like pastels? Do they like saturated colors? You can learn a lot about people. And something I started doing was when I would go up to someone's desk that I wanted to talk to, I would pick out an object from their desk that I recognized and start a conversation about that. Trying to, break the ice and get to know them and kind of lure them into a conversation with me. And I did that for a couple months, and for some people, that thing that you decide to talk about might be the only thing you talk to them about for the rest of your, time at that job. I have people that, I started an inside joke with, and that's literally the only joke, the only thing we talk about. And that's fine, Some people just, they really like that one niche thing, and that's all they want to talk about. And so I found that was a really fun and easy way to kind of broach a conversation with someone who, they might be on the phone, they might be talking with a client that they don't like. It's just something fun and interesting and easy that can break the ice and really make people want to talk to you for 5 or 10 minutes and get them out of their own head for a few minutes and, things like that. So I encourage people to go to their desk and, pick out some things from your desk that you like and see if anybody else in the office has some similar trinkets you can talk to them about. Because, the first part of fostering a deep friendship is finding common ground, finding things you can talk about that, you both like and you both share. So the third thing is to include. And, this probably goes without saying, but, Black people are super closed off sometimes. And, we don't want to come to the company party because we know that it's going to be a lot of awkward silences, a lot of awkward stares, trying to force people to talk to you for an hour and a half. So, and, in settings like that, it's a little harder to find things to, connect on. And, because you don't have a desk full of trinkets or some funny thing that happened in the middle of the office that you can laugh about. So, I think something good would be to include, invite Black people out for, or, minorities out for drinks or dinner or whatever it is you do with your friends. And granted, because we're closed off, it might take a few tries to get us to come out with you and to trust you enough to, yeah, sure, let's go out. Because, minorities come in all shapes and sizes, and not all of them are extroverted. A lot of us are introverted, because of our upbringing. Because, when you're the odd one out, you kind of keep to yourself and you learn to enjoy your own company. So I feel like including people, taking multiple attempts at it, even if this is the 75th time you've asked a minority to come out and hang out with you, keep trying, because, one day they might accept, and you really want to be on the lookout for that and be at your best. So when we go out with you, you're ready and, we all feel comfortable. So number 4 is determination. And, what I mean by that is to keep trying, Don't let a minority's reservations about, opening up to you really stop you. Keep trying, keep pushing, keep, trying to start a conversation every day. Because, a lot of our introvertedness is, our upbringing and, from years and years of, generational oppression, and, we just learn to keep to ourselves. So you have to be determined. If you want to, have stronger friendships with minorities, you have to do what you would normally do with, any other Caucasian. You have to try. You can't sit back and expect them to come to you because, we might not do that. In fact, I guarantee you we probably won't do that unless we're extroverted in some way. And so, determination is key. You need to really, put your foot down and really keep trying and really, even if it means just saying hi to a person every day and making sure you acknowledge them every day, like simple steps. Be determined, don't back down, don't take, our aloof, closed off behavior as a no, because it's not necessarily a no. That's just, the frame of mind we live in sometimes. Because we're about our business and we're working towards our goals and we're not necessarily paying attention to everyone else around us. Speaking personally, as an introverted person, I don't necessarily, go into work every day on the lookout for someone waiting to speak to me. So, be determined. Be extroverted if you have to. Just really be bold and be very, persistent and intentional with how you speak to minorities. And so the last thing is to educate. Educating yourself, potentially educating others. I guess my thoughts about that are, the same way you keep a backlog of lore of your favorite video game, do the same with minorities. Catalog all that information that you gain from, talking with minorities and getting a sense of how they live and what they like and what they don't like. Because, we'll say, because we're minorities, our worldview is a little bit different. I don't necessarily talk to my coworkers about how I'm feeling because, I feel like it would create tension because, being a minority, being African American, I kind of feel like I do view the world through an us versus them type of lens, not in a malicious way, but just in the sense that, I'm a minority. I know I'm going to be likely outnumbered in a room and, just feeling out the room, keeping to myself and, really getting a sense of the people that I'm dealing with, so I feel like that's probably one of the reasons that minorities don't talk to Caucasians a lot about how they're feeling is because sometimes it comes from that us versus them, black versus white perspective because that's what we've been raised in. So I'd say, educate yourself. Try not to take minorities, worldview at all, in a bad way because a lot of us do look at the world through a black-white binary, and I think, Caucasians really need to educate themselves about that. Like, yeah, we're talking about race, we're talking about us versus them, and that's how we feel, but it's not necessarily a malicious intent. It's just the world we've grown up in. So when we talk to you about our problems, and it comes from that particular direction, just educate yourself and know not to take it personally. It's just, we were raised differently. We see things differently, and just to really become more aware of that and educate yourself that, a Caucasian's worldview is, somewhat different from a minority's. And really be aware of that and understanding that, when we say, like in this video, white people do this to be better at, minority friendships, it's not, in a malicious way. It's just literally how I would talk to anyone, about anything. It's always approaching it from that double-sided coin type of perspective. So I think, if you want to be a better friend, you need to educate yourself on what your friends are really like and how they feel about things and, what makes them happy, what makes them sad, how do they approach, problem solving and things like that. So, those are just a few tips as an African American woman, that I feel like, if you want to foster better minority relationships, these are a few tips on going about it. And honestly, it's not too much different from, any other friendships you've had. It's a little touchy maybe because it's a little different from what you're used to, but, get in there and be determined and, try not to brush minorities off. You need to include them. You want them to feel included. You want them to feel like a friend. You treat them like you would any really good friend that you want to keep. And so with that said, I'll let you guys finish the video, and I will see you in the next one. You got to let